Hello, 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 fellow denizens of the World Wide Web. It's me, your boy, Nick King. How's everyone feeling today? I imagine I already have a good idea of how you're feeling. You're probably feeling very much the same way that I'm feeling. We are, after all, in the midst of a global pandemic. Kind of disappointed in myself that it has taken me this long to film a video. I suppose I have been a tiny bit uninspired. Been feeling pretty lazy, been sleeping and laying down a lot, been wearing the same clothes a lot. I'm recording this in my underwear right now. I have also been preoccupied, as many of you have been, with a little video game. A little video game that we like to call Animal Crossing New Horizons. Animal Crossing New Horizons came out on a date that I can't remember and that I didn't bother to research because it doesn't matter, because time doesn't exist anymore. All I know is that it came out kind of just before the whole quarantine started, and I've been playing it ever since. Animal Crossing New Horizons is the latest installment in one of my all-time favorite franchises of video games, Animal Crossing. I remember I got the first one when it came out on GameCube. I got it Christmas morning. I played it all day Christmas. It was the best. New Horizons is no exception. It's a beautiful game. It's just so nice. If you've played it before, you know what I mean. It's just so nice to play. It's exactly the kind of game that the world needs right now, I think. For those of you who don't know, you play as a little human character who inhabits an island, and your goal is essentially to build the island up, make it beautiful, and invite a bunch of animal inhabitants to come live as your neighbors. There's all different kinds of animals that can come to your town, like cats and bunnies and dogs and alligators and ostriches and kangaroos, and the list goes on and on. You can go fishing, plant flowers, catch bugs, build furniture, but kind of like the whole theme of the game is building friendships and relationships. There is, however, a bit of a problem. There's a contingency. I feel like I did this last video. What's the word I'm looking for? Cotetery? Is that a word? What does that word mean? Cotetery. There is a section of the Animal Crossing fandom who is not necessarily so lovey-dovey with all of the residents on their islands. There has been a rash of discussion online regarding the bullying of animals in Animal Crossing. Many people believe that if you bully one of the villagers on your island, you can eventually convince them to leave. So people are finding the villagers on their island who they have deemed annoying or ugly and are finding all manner of creative ways to torment them. It can be as simple as just ignoring them, not talking to them at all, to hitting them with a bug net, building fences up around their house, sending them mean letters, putting threatening messages on signposts. The problem with bullying the villagers in your town, aside from the fact that it's just plain cruel, is that it's not proven to actually work in regards to getting people to move away. Sure, if you ignore someone, they're less inclined to be your friend, which means they're less inclined to stick around, but actively bullying someone doesn't decrease the likelihood of them becoming your friend. Now, I'm not here to talk about how you shouldn't bully the villagers on your island because it's mean, or even because it doesn't work. Because you know what? Bullying is a good thing. You're talking about a game where a bunch of animals live on an island. It only makes sense that natural evolutionary systems would take root amongst your community. Bullying is just part of natural selection. Weeds the wheat out from the chaff, as the expression goes, or it makes you a stronger, better person. Being bullied builds character. I personally would like to give a huge thank you to the people who bullied me in high school. Telling me that I was a big gay orangutan was a crucial turning point in my life that really turned me into a better person, the person I am today. Lots of love to bullies the world over for being not only the funniest people that we know, but for also doing a great deed for society. Things are only funny if someone's feelings are getting hurt. If you're getting bullied, be grateful. And if you're doing the bullying,
big bless.
Now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, what I have done for you is I've created a list. This is a list of the 10 most bullyable Animal Crossing villagers. This way, you know exactly who to look out for. If they show up on your island, you can start hitting them with a net. You can start posting threatening signs outside their house. Do what you gotta do. But I, as I am wont to do, have taken it a step further. Not only have I provided you with a list of the 10 most bullyable Animal Crossing villagers, I have also done the research and found for each one of those villagers who would be their best animal bully from the Animal Crossing universe. This way, If building a jail cell around them in public is not enough to get them to leave the island, you can enlist the help of a bully to bully with you. While you're not playing, the bully in-game can continue doing the legwork for you. Without further ado, let's hurt some feelings. The first victim on our list is Darwin the Duck. Darwin the Duck need only be looked at for you to know that he is a prime target for some good old-fashioned bullying. He basically looks like if the Animal Crossing game developers decided to model a villager after every 80s and 90s film nerd archetype ever. He's named after Charles Darwin, a scientist who probably also got bullied a lot. His house has a chalkboard in it. He submits a request for a personal study space. This duck loves school and reading and books, all nerd stuff, all bully fuel. And who better to bully Darwin the Duck than Butch the dog? Butch is a great name for a bully, as evidenced by the fact that Butch is the name of the bully in Cool Cat Saves the Kids, which is a 2015 anti-bullying movie starring Vivica A. Fox, Eric Estrada, and former Playgirl model Derek Savage. Butch has the permanent angry eyebrows, he's got the grumpy attitude. I could really see him grabbing Darwin by the collar and shoving him straight into a locker. The next dweeb whose lunch money we're going to take is Kid the Goat. Look at that vest. What kind of kid wears that vest? Kid, the theater kid, wears that vest. Kid the Goat gives off huge drama club energy. I would know. I gave off huge drama club energy when I was in high school. You might be surprised to find out. His catchphrases include,
"Artistic inspiration cannot be suppressed,"
and
"Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken."
his furniture request is for a photography studio, like he's the gosh dang kid from American Beauty, taking videos of garbage bags floating on the wind and all that jazz. Wolfgang the Wolf is the kind of bully that you might see in a movie like The Breakfast Club, where he feels like he has to be a bully because that's the card that life has dealt him. Clearly, deep down, he is brooding, introspective, and maybe just as creatively driven as the people that he bullies. He's like a self-loathing artist who's afraid to get in touch with his feelings, so he lashes out with people who are comfortable with themselves in that respect. His quote from Wild World is,
"I could eat you for breakfast, short stack."
Which you can imagine him saying it to Kid, and it being this kind of very sexually tense moment, honestly. I'm not going to write the fanfiction, and I hope nobody else does either. Kid and Wolfgang, a beautiful pair, for bullying or for romance. Next up on the list, we've got Stinky the Cat. Stinky the Cat is the dweeb archetype known as a spaz. Prime example of just how spazzy Stinky the Cat is this catchphrase of his, which goes like,
"Hey! Good afternoon! I'm absolutely wired today! How about you? You peppy? You jolly? Yeah!"
Anyone who walks around saying some stuff like that is probably going to get a wedgie. Luckily for Stinky the Cat, he's not a great target for a wedgie because he wears his underwear on his head. Maybe almost as a preventative measure, like, look everyone, I gave myself the wedgie already, you don't have to worry about it. The skivvies on his head and the jock personality type are references to the fact that Stinky is like an aspiring wrestler. But he's so scrawny and scatterbrained, he's like third string in his weight division at best. Which is why his bully is Tibble the Lion. Tibble the Lion is a first-string wrestler in his weight division. This is not canon, this is just an inference by me. He is a big cat, where Stinky is a small cat, alright? Tibble is king of the jungle, Stinky is, he's Stinky. Tibble is obviously also a bully because he's named after the antagonist in Romeo and Juliet. What? Drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word as I hate hell, all Montagues and thee. Have at thee, coward! This big theater kid energy. Hey everyone, I just wanted to add real quick that the true antagonist of Romeo and Juliet is bad blood and young love. Tibble is also the character in Romeo and Juliet who kills Mercutio. Spoiler alert! And Mercutio is the best character in Romeo and Juliet. Side note, Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet would be played by Marshall the Squirrel. It's cat versus cat in this matchup. Stinky and Tibble, maybe you should try to settle this in the ring. What say you? Number 7 on the list of bully victims in Animal Crossing New Horizons is Jacques the Bird. First things first, Jacques has a soul patch. We can move on from that Quickly, Jacques is also a DJ. Now, being a DJ does not inherently make you target for bullying, but Jacques is a very specific type of DJ. He's like a Euro techno DJ. Evidenced by the fact that his name is Jacques, his catchphrase is French, the song that plays in his house is KK House, so he's Euro techno. That's fine. Plenty of Euro techno people don't get bullied. The problem is, Jacques takes his coffee with lots of milk. You can only be a cool Euro techno DJ if you drink black coffee. Those are the rules. I didn't write them. Still, being a creamy coffee Euro techno DJ is not the biggest offense, but if you pair Jacques up with the right villager, oh boy, it's a one-way ticket straight to Bully Town, which would actually be a pretty sick name for your island in New Horizons if you haven't made one yet. Jacques' bully, of course, is going to be Sid the Elephant. Sid the Elephant is a punk through and through. His English name is a reference to Sid Vicious, his Spanish name is a reference to the Ramones, and his Japanese name just means
Punk.
punks like Sid, which is to say punks in the tradition of the late 70s, early 80s, hated DJs and all electronic music. Because it wasn't
Punk.
to sit at a computer or to stand at a turntable, it was
Punk.
to do heroin. Now, next up on the list of bully victims is someone that Sid would probably get along with. It's Rodeo the Bull. Rodeo the Bull is definitely one of the most goth villagers in all of Animal Crossing canon. He's clearly gotten his fashion sense from bands like Taking Back Sunday and Chiodos and Fall Out Boy. He's got the swoopy, bleached bangs. He's definitely some sort of scene kid, emo kid, goth, product of MySpace type character. Now take it from me, someone who had spectacularly swooping bangs in the mid-2000s. An emo kid can get bullied by just about anyone. So I had to do a little bit of digging to find the perfect bully for Rodeo the Bull, and it's Olaf the Anteater. For the one simple reason that he's a matador. Olaf is a matador, and Rodeo is a bull. Next up on the list is a twofer. We've got Knox the Chicken and Sterling the Eagle. Now, these two LARPing freaks, they're clearly best friends who go to the Ren Fair together. They clearly own replica swords, as evidenced in canon by the fact that Knox has a master sword in his house. They go to the park with their other dork friends and they swing foam swords at each other. There aren't a lot of things that a bird could do to paint a bigger target on their back than drag around a fake sword and wear a knight's helmet out in public. We have a pair of nerdy LARPers, so we need a pair of big old bullies. The perfect combo is obviously Spike the Rhino and Rasher the Pig. You can tell just by looking at them, the scars on their faces. Spike and Rasher have been in real fights with real knives. I can't imagine they would take kindly to a literal chicken running around with a toy sword. Spike and Rasher would probably end up beating them up, if I'm being honest with you. Probably a full-fledged physical beating for those two birds. The other reason this pair is perfect to be a bully pair, aside from their matching facial scars, is the fact that they are Bebop and Rocksteady from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Knox and Sterling wouldn't stand a chance. It would be ugly. It would be ugly. This one's not funny. This would be ugly for them. Our next victim is kind of a strange archetype for the bullied person, but it's Colton the Horse. Now, everything about Colton's appearance, home, and personality point to the fact that he is like a snooty, spoiled, rich brat. But he's not the kind of snooty, spoiled, rich brat who's gonna take his Lambo and whip it around the neighborhood and like shoot paintballs at the neighbor's pets or whatever. He's like the indoorsy, piano lessons all day kind of snooty, spoiled, rich kid. And what happens when you take the sheltered rich kid and toss him out into the real world? Have you ever seen Charlie Bartlett? If you haven't seen Charlie Bartlett, you should. Big rip to Anton Yelchin. It's a great movie. That movie almost got me fired once. It's a long story. I won't get into it. If Colton the Horse was like the badass, mean kind of rich kid, he wouldn't be wearing that shirt. And that's that. Anyways, the perfect bully for Colton the Horse is Biff the Hippo. Biff perfectly represents the kind of small town bully who would target a fish out of water rich kid like Colton. He's big and intimidating. He's also named after the main antagonist in Back to the Future, Biff Tannen. I could definitely see Biff the Hippo smacking all the books out of Colton's hand in the hallway, calling him a butthead.
What are you looking at, butthead? So what's it to you, butthead?
Who you calling butthead, butthead?
Iconic bully archetype, Biff the Hippo. All right, we're in the top 3 at this point. The third most bullyable villager in Animal Crossing New Horizons is Snake the Rabbit. Snake the Rabbit is a weeaboo. For those of you who don't know, a weeaboo is a term used to describe someone who is not Japanese but is obsessed with Japanese culture. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking up an interest in other cultures around the world. I watch a lot of anime, but Snake is the type of rabbit who takes this behavior to its logical conclusion, going so far as to dress up like a ninja, including one of those Naruto-looking headbands. I concede to the point that Animal Crossing is a Japanese franchise, so this character, in its original cultural context, wouldn't seem so weird. Obviously, I'm looking at this game through a very American lens. This is the conclusion that I've arrived at. Now, not only is Snake a weeb, he is very specifically a cybergoth weeb, as evidenced by the giant zipper on the black shirt that he wears. If he were wearing pants, I'm sure they would be trip pants. I'm sure they would be covered in all sorts of straps and chains. And you could catch him at the bridge rave, the under the bridge rave. You know the video I'm talking about. Snake is probably obsessed with mindless self-indulgence, probably a huge Jonan Vasquez fanboy. Now, does watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z and wearing an Invader Zim t-shirt all the time make you a good target to be bullied? I don't know. You would have to ask me. And who better to bully this strange little rabbit than Boone the Baboon? Boone the Baboon has a jock personality type. He's a total meathead. They even talk in-game about how he's drinking protein shakes all the time. This specific type of monkey that he's based on is particularly territorial and aggressive. And in Pocket Camp, your furniture reward for increasing friendship with Boone is a punching bag. I just hate to think it, but the scenario that plays out in my head is Boone meets Snake, thinks, I don't need this punching bag anymore. You can have it. Nick King, you're my boy. I found a new punching bag, and he runs like this. Number 2 on the list is a bit complicated. There are a lot of socio-political implications with this choice, and that's because Boomer the Penguin is an incel. Boomer's obsession with aircraft, specifically military aircraft, despite being a flightless bird, just kind of smacks with this hint of like frustrated violence. His name is even a reference to bombs. What happens when you take a bird that just wants to drop bombs out of the sky and make it unable to fly? Where do you think that energy is going to get channeled into? So if you're like me and you don't want that kind of energy on your island, you need an animal bully to come onto the scene. This is where things get a little bit tricky because I've nominated Naomi the cow. Now, I don't think Naomi the cow is particularly capable of being a bully. I don't think that she would go out of her way to do or say anything cruel to Boomer the incel penguin. Naomi the cow is named after Naomi Campbell, who is a famous model. Her catchphrase also, clever pun, is moolah, a reference to the fact that she's a cow, but also to the fact that she's rich. So she's rich, she's smoking hot, and she's unobtainable. All of these things combined would drive Boomer the incel penguin to the brink. And I have to emphasize this, through no fault of Naomi the cow's. Just her very existence in his vicinity would set off Boomer the incel penguin. He would vilify Naomi the cow for being hot and rich and unobtainable. He'd probably go on some tirade about being friend-zoned, which, like all of Animal Crossing, is just one giant friend zone. And that's tight. I love having friends, and it sounds like a very cool zone to be in. I don't really want to dig too much deeper into this whole incel thing. I just don't trust Boomer the penguin, and if he were in my village, I would want him out. He would make me feel uncomfortable. Which brings us to our final, the most bullyable villager in all of Animal Crossing. If you find this guy moving into your island, it's basically a worst case scenario. You basically have to trash your save file and start all over again. I'm very sorry to say it to you. I'm talking, of course, about Pietro the Sheep. Pietro the Sheep is a horrifying, terrible nightmare clown. Now you're probably saying, but Nick, What about Marcel the dog? Isn't Marcel the dog also a clown? Yes. Yes, he is. But Marcel is a French clown. And in France, clownery is a high art form. They're like some of the most respected members of society. Pietro the Sheep is not a French clown. He looks more like some sort of a rodeo clown or an American circus clown. And American clownery is not a high art form, it's a low art form. Even his character description in Pocket Camp is evidence of the fact that no one wants him around. Quote, "Some people find Pietro's look charming, but most are just creeped out by his whole deal." I have not personally spoken to anyone who enjoys the presence of Pennywise in their Animal Crossing village, so you're going to have to enlist the help of a very powerful bully, Sly the Gator. Now, why is Sly the Gator the perfect bully for Pietro the Clown? Well, first of all, he's got a jock personality type, so already predisposed to bulliery. He's also an alligator, an apex predator. Pietro's a sheep. What's the opposite of apex?
An antonym of apex is antapex.
Sheep are antapex prey. That's all well and good, but the main reason that I've chosen Sly as the number one bully on this list is because not only does he wear a camo shirt, but he is a camo animal. And if growing up in rural northern New Hampshire in the 90s and attending hardcore shows in Boston in the mid-2000s has taught me anything, it's that camo equals bully. Sly's got camo on camo. He's a double bully. Any one of the animals on this list wouldn't stand a chance. It's hard enough to resist a bully's beating when they're wearing a camo jacket. Imagine trying to resist a bully's beating from an apex predator that you can't even see. They should make a movie about that. So that's it, I guess. That's the list. Those are the most bullyable animals in Animal Crossing and the best bullies. The best bullies. Look, everyone, don't bully your villagers in Animal Crossing, okay? It doesn't work. It's mean. If you really want someone to leave your island, just be better friends with everyone else than you are with them. Or you can always buy an amiibo on eBay for $50 and then reset your game at the campground every time they choose to kick someone else out other than the person you want to leave. You could just do it that way, I guess. It's not okay to take out your frustrations on this video game. I know we're all very frustrated right now. We all want to go outside. We all want to sit in a restaurant. There are shows that we're missing, movies that we can't go to. But if you're going to be frustrated, don't bully some cute little animal in a video game who just wants to be your friend, okay? Bully a nerd in real life. Bully a nerd in real life.
Be a bully in real life and bully some nerds.
Bully some nerds. Bully anyone who's different from you are. That's it for the video. Don't forget to smack that MF subscribe button with a bug net. Don't forget to like this video. And also leave a comment. Tell me about your favorite and least favorite Animal Crossing villagers. I would love to hear it. I feel like you have to say that, right? I would love to hear it. Would I really? Probably not. Do it anyways, though. I'll respond to your comment. That'll give you infinitesimally small boost of serotonin. A little social media interaction, eh? This has been your boy, Nick King. Love for friends. That should be enough takes. What a oh man.